Let's see over there. This for some reason it will not show. Okay. Is it showing on the other end? I don't see that. It say live here. Hold on, but I don't see no live. Hold on, let me go on here. Let's see. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, it's live.
Okay, because I went on it. It was showing your past presentation. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start the thing, man, and then I'll start sharing the show. Hold on.
Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for the black man.
Red in my team, red like I'm green, queen, the king, salute, now scream, I should. Bring I should. I'm red in my team, red like I'm green, queen, the king, salute, now scream, I should. Bring I should.
All right, give me just a second, y'all. Trying to tag a few people in here real quick. We'll get started. Julia, I guess I'll tag on there. Robert and Rice. That's just a few. All right. We back on Kofi Piesie TV. First, I want to say ETM Hotep, Dual Duau, Dual Aku, Dual Netcher, Fatmo Alafie, Fatmo Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ilakba, Majuba Iba Ilakba, Igungun Kiki Igungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors and those true and living ancestors in my perspective or according to African traditions, these guys that I hail as my elders fit those qualifications. So again, I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. And we are our ancestors. Now this thing here won't even let me. Okay. All right. We're back again with the second show today on Kofi Piesie TV. Right now I got brother Vyasa Niccolo. I can't see Vyasa Niccolo and brother Setepenre Miriam. I'm thinking brother Herit Shawn Khafani is going to come back and join, and Sutekh said he's going to come back on the panel. We're gonna I'll be able to put the link in the chat in a minute once I get through sharing my screen and get through sharing the video and get a few more people in here. I don't even know who in here yet, but get some more people in here, and then we'll put the link in the chat. And if anybody want to come in and be involved in this open discussion about the Black family, the state of the Black family, you're more than welcome to join the panel and get in and get in on the discussion. My brother Vyasa Niccolo will be heading discussion, and we'll be building with brother Vyasa Niccolo. And again, me, myself, Setepenre, Herit, Shawn Khafani, and Sutekh. Um, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen real quick.
Don't do that because I didn't
Hold
put
on.
it together. You can just keep it on your screen unless you just want to show the avatars and background.
Oh no, we can keep it on there if you want to, man. I'm gonna have to take it off there though when I get ready to share the link in a little bit, but we'll share the link in a little bit. I'll put it back on here. Um
I'm gonna send
but,
I'm gonna send you a photo I made though to go with this. Well, I made it before this discussion started manifesting, but I think it fit in that photo in the Facebook chat.
okay. And you want me to put that up now or
Yeah, if you want to, we can do that. Because it kind of once you see it, you'll kind of see the symbology to it.
okay, no doubt. I'll throw it up. You finna put it back in the back chat.
Yeah, give me just a second.
Okay. The hell? Disregard the poll. I thought I had copied what I had just had a while ago. I'm trying to put them in the groups. I ain't fast with this, man. Shawn, but I don't know how Shawn be doing it. Shawn have 50 people even share the video, the 50 groups in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, you gotta. I just figured it out, man. You gotta when you go to your iPhone, once you put it in one group, then after you put it in that one group, then you go back, you hit share, and then once you press share, it say share the groups, and then it'll have all your groups listed on the right hand side. You can just hit share, share, share. You ain't got to keep putting it back in there. You feel me?
Okay, you go to one group
Yeah,
and you just share
yeah,
it in one group first. Okay.
yeah. Put it in one group first, or post it first, and then hit the share button. You on your phone, right?
Yeah, well, I'm on my iPad now, but I'm gonna get on my phone and do
Well, I mean that's how I'm doing it, is from the phone, but you could probably do it from
it.
the iPad.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it from the phone real quick. Hold on, let me go to back to Facebook. Go on Facebook. I shared it on my page already. So, well, can I go on my page or would it have to be in a group?
Nah, you can pull it from your page.
Okay. Hold
Like
on.
you just share, you just put it right there. Boom. Now hit it, and then hit share to a group, and all the groups will pop up.
Okay. Let me see. Share. It says share to their page, share to group. Okay, share the groups. Okay, shoot, that's right. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shawn ain't nothing special, man. He just using technology.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah.
I'm glad they put that feature on there though, because you know before you had to go look the group up, put it in, look the group up, put it in. Now they
Yep.
got
And see
it
that.
all the time.
And honestly, that's what I just I was doing earlier. Even when I was trying to share yours, man, I was sharing, stop going in another group, trying to share, stop going
Yeah,
to it.
that's why when I was doing my show, I said I already had shared it because I had put it before I even started saying anything. I had already shared it in probably about 15 groups.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well,
Yep,
yeah.
it's good now.
That man done put me on some. I'm back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And but give us a second, family. We're gonna get started in just a second. I'm finna snatch that picture. I'm gonna have to stop here. I'm finna snatch the picture from out of the thing, and And if anybody in the chat, y'all help us share too. You know what I'm saying? Just keep sharing. I think this is gonna be a powerful discussion. It's a well-needed discussion as well. Hold on, let me come out of here from sharing and go here and then stop sharing and go into the back chat. I mean the bat chat.
And Baron,
All right. Okay, I see it. I see it. Let me grab it and save it, and then I'll put it up.
and bear in mind, we want this to be a family event. At least on this discussion, we want feedback.
Yeah,
We want commentary. We want ideas, points of views. We want commentary. So we need more people in here on this one. So share, share, share.
yeah. I'm gonna keep sharing in a minute. I'm finna paste this picture on here and I throw it back, reshare my screen and put it back up. All right, let me see. Let me go here. Copy. All right. Okay. Make sure it don't get too blurry. Let me see something. Dang. I got it. Let's see. It kind of. Let me see. Let me see when I blow it up. Let me see what it look like. Cause I blew it up, but let me. It's. I'm gonna have to. If I enlarge it real big, not Sutekh, but Vyasa. Okay. Let me see. This might be okay right here. It might be okay.
And if
Let me see what
it don't work, the presentation, I just thought it'd be a good backdrop to all the conversation.
No, I mean I'm gonna have to shrink it down. I wanted to try to blow it up real big, but I don't have to have it that big. I'm just trying to give me just a second, y'all. I like this too. I'm trying not to make it look too blurry because the more I try to blow it, but that might be the way it looked though. Okay, hold on, let me try this. All right, that should be okay right there, and we can read that off to him. Hold on, let me go right here. Let's go back to sharing my screen. Okay, share my screen. Share. Let's see. Can y'all see that? Yeah, it's good. I'm tripping. It's okay. And you can kind of discuss this too. I like this too. You can read it off too, Vyasa, when you get ready.
Okay, that picture symbolizes kind of what I see at the moment when we look at society. This idea of there being strength in individualism versus collectively pursuing life and engaging it with a family mind frame. Um, is it switching when I talk? Yeah. Can you lock it onto your screen?
Yeah, I thought. Hold on, I might have didn't share it everywhere. Okay, hold on. Sorry about that. Let's see. Stop. I'm gonna just lock it on me. Go back to share. Share. Present to everyone. Add. Okay, we back in. It's back up.
Okay. Yeah. I was looking at my computer, and y'all can see it's an axe cutting down a tree, and it's saying not knowing who you are, where and what you're made of is the easiest way to hurt yourself. And as I was saying earlier, We are embracing this ideology that individualism is the only means to success. Um, we're saying things like we can't love anybody, we can't trust anybody. I have to do this on my own. It's all about me. So I wanted to spark a conversation pertaining what is the Black family? What does it mean when we enter all these chats and we say peace family? Are we only just saying it because it looks good in these chats, or is it something that we actually implement in our day-to-day interactions with people and family? Um, and I'm gonna keep letting people come in uh, at the moment. But yeah, that's
Okay,
pretty.
is that me or is that on my end, y'all? Or cause he kind of sound a little choppy to me. That might be on my end though.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
he?
that's on your end, man.
Okay. What about the people in the chat? He sound good in the chat, y'all. One, if he sound good, yes. One or whatever. Just not. Does he sound pretty good in there? Age, like I said, it might be on my end. I'll leave down. I need to turn off some of this stuff on my Wi-Fi. That's all it is. Did they say cause hell, I'm back up here in Facebook. I'm trying to see that my stuff share. I don't even see where it's. Let me see. Any group. But what they say in the chat. I know y'all say he sound good. Okay, I see it. It's where my stuff sharing. What they say, he good?
Yeah, we got two so far that said it sounds okay. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let me know if I do sound choppy.
Oh no, you good then, like I said, and you sound good, clear now to me. It just on my end, like I said, man, I'm finna try out some of these darn devices on the Wi-Fi router. AT&T, I tell you.
But that's the premise of wanting to open up the conversation. Now, as I do with presentations in the future, I'm gonna do, a history of the Black family in America. I'll get into living conditions, economics, and things of that nature. But as of right now, I would like to see any concerns from what we call the family, the audience, even you brothers on the panel. Anything that y'all might be curious or have insight on pertaining what it means to say Black family. Um, is it something that we actually working towards? Is it something we just uh, what does it look like? And this goes into all our conversations about moral ethics, um, love towards ancestors. There has been a presentation I seen you do on the leaves the family aspect. So I just want to what we look at the family through the lens of African American. And I understand families are going to be different from household to household. There may not be one answer, but it's something that we need to work towards. Uh, and it's like I was telling you, what really, really sparked this off, Kofi, was when I was talking to you. I think we was talking on the phone. And I said, the sad thing at the moment is it's okay to say that's my ex-wife, that's my ex-husband, that's my baby mama, that's my baby daddy. But the child never gets to pick that's my ex-father or that's my ex-mother. But we are teaching them a double negative at that point because we're teaching them that it's okay not to have an idea of loyalty, that you don't have to commit. Because if mom and daddy can't even commit to each other, why should I commit to anything? Why should I believe in anything? So it's that we really do need to realize and look at. There hasn't been any article that I've looked at so far when I type in Black family, states of the Black family, that you don't see something that I just think is horrible, and it's the absence of the Black father. I think we need to debunk that myth. I'm totally aware of the absentee fathers of the world, But I don't think that's something. I don't think that's a stereotype that should fall upon us the way it has, and that conversation has to change. Um, so it's a big conversation, and this is why I want participation from the family as well to uh, cover this topic because it needs to be talked about. We can't talk about wealth without a family. What's the point in even accumulating wealth if you're not going to extend it to a family or share it with anybody? Because this world is a big place, especially if you lived here all alone. I don't think a single one of us would want to walk this planet without the interactions of another human being, especially those that we call loved ones and family. So we need to bring back the importance of that. I'm kind of let anybody else chime in for a second, so I don't get too long winded.
Yeah, Vasa. I mean, that's a good point you say because a lot of black men, we have the stereotype that we aren't fathers, we aren't good fathers, we absent fathers, baby daddy stuff and baby mama stuff. That's just all good points. Um, and then when you got that type of stereotype on you, and then a brother end up having a kid, he like, well, shit, they already think I ain't gonna take care of the baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like if you already got that type of if the bar is already set low, you know what I'm saying? You don't expect much of the person, But we got to start setting the bar high. We got to get that. We got to get our greatness back to where when a woman have a child with a black man, she ain't calling him, telling him, "Oh yeah, you had a boy, you had a girl." It's no, he's there. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the baby get born,
Yeah,
whether he's with the woman or not. You feel me?
yeah, and when I signed for divorce, and I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. It was something that I had to do. It was not ashamed to be honest about my life. It was a real abusive relationship. And when the abuse started traumatizing my children, that's when I had no choice but to protect my children and file for divorce. When I filed for divorce, everyone that I knew was prepping me to just deal with the fact I was going to not see the kids, pay child support, and just be a child support father. And my rebuttal to that every single time was, I'm not a child support daddy. I'm a father that's going to support his kids. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there day in, day out. I'm going to be the one that takes them to school. Even if this was just hope at the moment that I had to hold on to, it was that fight in me to show, no, I'm a father before anything else. When I became a father, me as an individual died and I became a unit at that point. I became the spokesperson, the protector, the 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 head of a unit bigger than myself, which in return should be called family. So yeah, that's just to add into what you were saying, Setep, that we are out there. That it's and bear in mind that I did say I'm aware of the absent fathers, and I don't get it. I don't understand how anybody could choose to live their life that way, but we do exist, and we've had to face hardships. And I think as the conversation progresses, I'm getting to us understanding the difference in between matriarchal societies and matrifocal societies. And matrifocal, just they're saying mama is the head of the household. Well, what culture doesn't have that? But that doesn't mean that the father isn't there and he's not the head of the unit either. We got to be able to weed out the biases in this. For example, you might be classified as a single mother or the father absent in the home at the moment, but he may be off at war. He may be deceased. He may not be a father that abandoned his responsibilities as a father. So, and those pains only go in and further the pains of that conversation as well. I don't want to get too wrapped up in that dynamic of it just yet, but yeah, it's something that we're gonna have to talk about. We really, really are. And I see it out here in the chat that there's some mamas out here with some issues too. We need to talk.
Yeah. We need Kayla to get on the panel and
I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm talking us up a storm. I'm like, they
my
stop.
bad.
They talking over me.
I
They
had to
talking
mute
over
you.
me.
I had to mute you, Kofi, because when the brother was talking, there was a lot of feedback.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, because once I shared the screen, yeah, I didn't mute the mic. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I was talking away and I didn't know I was muted because I had my screen sharing. I see people are starting to ask questions or putting their input in. So I'm finna put the link in the chat and hopefully we can get a few people in here and as we continue to build, hopefully some more people will be able to come in and and share. Right now I think the other brother is on and they love that entertainment over there. Damn, is this right? Hold on, y'all. I'm tripping.
Okay,
I'm finna put it.
while you do that, I'm gonna throw out one more little talking point. One thing that really hurt us in the single parent household environment is the death of the extended family. Once upon a time, if you was a single mother, you had grandmother and grandfather, or mother and father to fall back on as you developed yourself. Even if you was a single father, um, we can't act like mothers never died at birth, and the father may have to take on the responsibilities of being the parent. But what made it different in the past was it was okay to live under the same household until you got yourself established. And that's one of the things we've seen in many of Kofi's presentations was building compounds, building a civilization around family. Not trying to build it around yourself, but building it around family with the idea that this is getting passed on. And that's the continuum of life. That's the access to eternity. Um, it's how you live. It's not what you got while you lived, it's how you lived and what are you living for. If we just living for money, everybody can have access to money. And how many people are millionaires that we don't know the names of? But think of the people who did things that affected millions without money. Not to saying that we can't have money, not to saying that that's not a burden on the Black family as well. But there's a lot to this conversation. And I see we got Kyla on the on the panel. I'm gonna let her chime in if she wants to. So I don't want to hog the mic. I don't. I want this to be a family thing.
Sister Kyla.
Oh, sorry, guys. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Peace and love to everybody in the chat and on the panel. I appreciate the opportunity. So I think this is a great discussion, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to get through all of this tonight, but I think the first thing first is that needs to be addressed is how we first and foremost got to where we are as far as the Black family. And you see typically a lot of single mothers. I mean, not to discredit single fathers, but it's that stereotype that a lot of Black women are single mothers, but they never acknowledge the single fathers, or it's a quote unquote taboo to see a woman be a deadbeat, which is not the case. I think what also needs to be addressed is when you see these single mothers raising these children, especially if they are young girls. In my own personal experience, I've seen some women teach their girls that men ain't shit. They'll dog them out, excuse my language, but they'll dog them out about their father being, this and that and the third and yada yada. Instead of taking accountability, saying, hey, I made a poor choice in this particular person, not knowing, who they were. Mommy, we bought ice cream. It's so cold. Yes. Okay, baby, go back and play, please. And so we have to understand that, that's where it starts. What we are showing and teaching our children, and that's a big problem in itself, right there, especially with single moms degrading men as a whole. It's not to say that there are not men out there who are quote unquote deadbeats, but to put in their mind that all men are like that is very detrimental to the black man, and then to them, and then to the babies themselves, because now you didn't put that into their mind, and now they growing up, and that's what they think, and that's how they feel, and you are creating this psychological, I don't want to call, I don't want to use the wrong term, but you messing them up psychologically by telling them that. So that's a big thing that we need to address is adults, us as adults needing to take accountability. The, you see I'm staying for the kids, and then when they graduate, or when they graduate from high school, then I'll leave. That's a bad thing too, because what are you teaching the children? I mean, you think people think that because they're kids, they don't know no better, or they're too young to understand, or whatever they may think, and that's not the case. Especially as they get older, if you think that they're not noticing these things, you're definitely wrong. Children notice a lot, much more than what they may uh, lead on and lead you to believe. So I think that it just really needs to be addressed first and foremost, as us as adults taking accountability for the mistakes that we've made, and then dealing with them head on appropriately. So I don't want to get long winded or anything, but I think that that's where we first need to address, is because 9 times out of 10, usually they are, most majority are single parent households. And not to say that all women are doing it, but us as women, what are we teaching our children just by off of our actions and the things that we're telling them, because we are their role models. It starts at home. They're going to model what they see. So it's kind of a cycle that's not being broken. And that's the main issue. I think a lot of people don't want to deal with truth. They don't want to deal with what is. They'd rather just sugarcoat it or push it off to the side, and or put the blame on somebody else. And that's especially because our youth is our future, and it's very imperative that we are raising them to be excuse me, um successful young kings and queens, and for them to break that cycle and to be able to go back to our traditions and restore the black family, and really show their children what it is to be a family. So I think that's what we really need to start off with, as far as taking accountability, and what we can do as far as adults to be able to uh, correct that for our future generations to come.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Sister Kayla. We need to start. I mean, Sister Kayla, we need to start taking accountability for the things that we are doing, especially in the household, because these learned behaviors are starting in the household. These kids are observing things that we are doing, and observing things that we are saying, and especially when it comes to a lot of women, you know, that make mistake and sleep with the individual that they thought was this person that they wanted them to be, which they were not, and they began to build some type of resentment or hold some type of grudge against this individual after they conceive the child with this person. And you see that a lot. And because I experienced that in the household, for far as on my grandmother's side. My grandmother had an issue with my dad. My mother didn't raise me, but my grandmother had an issue with my dad, particularly why, I guess, why maybe certain things that he didn't do, and certain things that he did do for my mother. So I had this bad experience where they always down talk. My father, I see that a lot in other households too, dealing with my, with my sister, and some of our other family members where the single women in the household, their kids are learning to do some of the same things or look at men or look at the family structure in a different way. I don't need, the girls, especially the young women are growing up. I don't need a man. She's been taught that, that a man, she don't need a man. Uh, et cetera, to do certain things. Men are all dogs. That's why I don't need a man. And these things that the children are being taught in the household because the mother and I'm not going to even just say the mother, even on the father side as well. Those that are trying to be a part of the family, when they do get on, they have some type of resentment because the mother may, since she has a certain type of disdain for the person that she had a child with, she's trying to keep him away, trying to make his life hard. So therefore the brother begins to have some type of disdain for the person as well that he has a child with. So on the other hand, when the child is able to go with the father, the same thing, he have built up this type of resentment because this woman has tried to make his life miserable. So, he says negative things also. So they get it on both ends of the stick, and not just in a single household, but with the fathers who trying to be in a household, but the mothers have a certain issue with them and the other makes the male look bad in the same thing. So it does start in the household first, and we had to start taking accountability for those things first, because again, the learned behavior always starts in the household first. So I just want to throw that out there because I agree with you 100% on that, and I have experienced that myself.
Yeah, and let me add this. I think some of that got to do with the rise of the homosexuality within the black community, saying the father ain't shit. Cause um, like if you a young man or you're a young boy and you raised up around all women, you may start acting feminine. You know what I'm saying? Because the person that you look up to, they telling you he ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and even with the women, you telling a little girl, "Oh, girl, we don't need him. We don't need no man. We don't need no man in the house. We got this." So then now she thinking, all right, so the woman is the dominant or the head figure of the house. So I don't need a man. I'll just give me another woman because men ain't shit. Why would I want to go through what my mom went through? I just give me another woman and be happy. So I think that kind of correlates with the rise of homosexuality within the black community. I think it's a direct, yeah, I'm gonna say direct. I was gonna say indirect, but it's kind of direct correlation with the rise in the numbers nowadays in that.
I took a child development class. I had to drop the class. Little did I know it was going to come back to hurt me long term. But I'll deal with it. The reason why I dropped the class, a conversation manifested in class, and this was the teacher teaching this to the students, that a father is not necessary in a household. That now we have the ability to reproduce on our own, that women make enough money to sustain a household, and fathers are typically only there to tell jokes and play, and we don't have time to play games. And I'm sitting back scratching my head like, hold on, you can't produce a child without a male, first of all. And eventually, that childlike behavior from any man kind of dies out. So I don't know where all this joke comes from. And it's natural to mother or father to play with the kids. But the idea that she was teaching, that fathers are not needed in the household, and the class was, they was intaking it. They was believing this. So I just didn't want to partake in something like that. But yeah, I see where you're going, Satep, and it's creating a dynamic to where we do have to do something to combat this. I mean, we can't talk about us establishing ourselves as a nation, any forms of power, whether it be economic, political, spiritual, if we ourselves can't even identify a way to identify ourselves as a unit. And that does start with identifying each other as brothers and sisters. Um, and as I said earlier, one of the things that hurt us the most was the death of the extended family. And that laid, as the presentations show themselves, I'll show the years and dates of these things, but it happened at the same time that you see the initiatives of being a single mother, you see the rise of them producing, what we call retirement centers or places for the elderly. So this took the grandmother away from the family. Now she's over there. Now you are a single mother or a single parent facing this world by yourself. And anybody who has tried to do this, secretly, there's a lot of hidden frustrations that pride may try to mask, but you feel it inside. You feel the frustrations of being tired after work, but you have to clean. The children have energy. You have to cook for them. And you need help. And a big part of that help would have been there had the family unit still been intact. Hence that meme, if you want to call it that, I produced. Not knowing who you are and what you're made of is the quickest way to hurt yourself. You're trying to be an axe, but once upon a time you was a mighty tree that could have gave life instead of destroying life. So I'm gonna chime back out and let someone else keep building.
I agree, Vasa. I think what we also have to acknowledge too is like let's look in the past too and when and how it uh us as black people became this way, right? And so if you guys remember what did the what did they tell the black women when they wanted to get on welfare? You know, the black man can't be in the household. And so for them to get a couple of dollars on assistance, um, what did they do? They eliminated the black man. And they knew what they was doing because they knew how powerful it was to have the black man in the household. So they had to find a way to eliminate him. And um, I don't care if someone gets offended, but we, in a sense, help them get rid of the black man. And just like I don't know who that was who was just speaking prior to Vasa, but with the whole homosexuality thing, because now you look, um, I really hate talking about homosexuality because I feel like that's their business and they choose to do what they want to do, but I understand um, the detriment to the black community as far as homosexuality. Um, so with that being said, it's again goes back to accountability. And I'm a single mother. And did I obviously expect to be a single mother? No. So, but I'm we're here and I'm dealing with it now. Is it it's tough, obviously. It's hard, just like you said. You go to work for 8-9 hours, you got to come home, and then you got to deal with the kid because they don't understand that you just worked and all you want to do is sit down and just breathe for a second. You going to another job, and being a parent is 24/7, 365. You don't get a day off. So I can understand, men and women taking their frustrations out, but we have to understand too what we are doing to our child. So, me personally, you know, um, I don't talk bad about her father to her at all, or around her. As much as I can't stand him, of course, obviously, that's a choice that I made, and obviously I didn't make a good choice, but I'm dealing with it, and that's what it is. But I will never allow her to hear me speak bad about him in her presence or midst at all. And nor would I allow anyone else to talk bad about him to her, because That's just obviously not what I want to do. And that's another thing that we have to understand as women, as much as we may be upset, even men, um, you can't, that's just something you cannot do, is allow the child to hear you talking bad about that other parent, because then in a sense you're saying the same thing about them, because they're half of you and half of the father. So what are you saying to them if that's what you're saying about their father or mother? So we don't think about these things most times, and then we sitting here wondering why things are the way that they are. And we have to do better from birth, like literally from birth. Everything is a learned behavior, everything. So if something can be learned, then it can be unlearned. And we can't keep using the excuse, well, I was raised by a single parent, so that's all I know, because that's just not necessarily true to me. I feel like after a certain time, you get a certain age, you should know better. You should know right from wrong. So we really have to take a step back. Like when I'm wrong, and my daughter, like, I yelled at her and I was wrong, I apologize to her and I say, you know what, I'm sorry that I yelled at you and I was wrong. And I don't like, my mom never did that. That did that to me. I never got an apology ever. And there was times that she was wrong, and I knew she was wrong, and of course she knew she was wrong, but she wasn't going to apologize to me. And I think that's a problem right there in itself as well. We we should be able to be, if we teaching our children to be a certain way, we need to act that way as well. And so if we're wrong, we need to apologize for being wrong, and explain that to them. And it's not to downplay your role as a parent. To me, it's just a way of showing them that it's okay to be wrong, and admit that you're wrong and deal with it, and to correct it, because that's what you're going to end up doing in life as you become older. And if you're in a situation and you're wrong, you need to know that you were wrong and apologize. So you know we have to do better. I don't think that there's no excuse. It's a collective thing, and there are solutions. We just have to implement them. And also ask most people, or ask yourself, how important is family to you? Because again, if I don't want to say if they didn't have some people may not have had a family or know what it is to really be a family, and so therefore they don't know how to provide that to their children, and or their spouse. So it's all jacked up.
That's a great point, and that's the heart of this conversation.
What in the
It
hell are they up there doing?
is defining family. One of the sayings we have is it takes a village to raise a child. Um, and this is where our individualism and pride has gotten in the way and gotten the best of us. Most of us are not old, and I mean, most of us are old enough to remember once upon a time it was okay to knock upon your neighbor's door and ask for a small item, whether it be an egg. I'm not saying this to be funny, a cup of sugar, anything in the nature. Maybe just hey, this is the parent speaking. We about to leave. Go next door and see if Mr. Jones can watch you until we go back. The idea is you had an extended ideology of family there. But now we live in a time where most people don't even know their neighbors' names. So it is a conversation that we have to have. And it is too much pressure on one person to think you can face everything in this world alone. We do need family, and I guess it's just my love of family. Um, Even with me coming from a broken one, my love of black people will not allow me to harden my heart and say this is just the way it is and go on with society, because I don't see that as the way we should be living. So I want to have this conversation, and I hope it inspires change. If not change, at least stronger connections and the building of an extended family. You know, if we're going to say peace family every single time we open these chats, I want to see it implemented outside of social networking. Um, I'm gonna chime back out. We have
Yeah, let me add on to that. I'm gonna build with that because that was powerful what you just said. You know, um, when I went to visit my little brother in Seattle, I knew June stayed up there, right? So, you know, we consider ourselves family, you feel me? So I figured if I'm going to see my blood brother, I'm going to see my extended family too. You feel me? And then I wrote it on social media or whatever. Excuse me. I'm going to see both my brothers, you feel me? Cause June like a brother, you know what I'm saying? We done came up through the class together. You know, done went through little battles in the social wars, you know. So, you know, you gotta extend it outside of social media. So that was a good point you said on that. Go ahead, Kofi. I know you want to say something.
Oh no, I mean we all, making good points. I mean it just keep going back. I just keep thinking about accountability. The same thing Sister Kyla was saying. We have to start taking accountability for some of the things that we have done, and we have to, start taking accountability and then start trying to correct some of the things that we have done to help those who are against us succeed in tearing down or breaking um, the black families up. I mean, Sister Kyla, she mentioned about getting assistance from the government, which still goes on today, where a lot of our black sisters are taking partake in the government assistance. You can have this government assistance as long as you don't have the black male figure in the household, i.e., will give you EBT card. You can get free food. We'll load it up depending on how much money you're making, how many kids you got. We can send you this card every month, loaded. You can use its value as cash, where you can go in certain places that take this card, and you can feed your family with this as long as this man is in the household. Same thing when you go and get what is that? A lot of the women get for at Section 8. We'll provide you housing for a little of nothing. We'll provide you housing for $100 a month, $15 a month, $20 a month. We'll provide you housing. We'll get in here. We're inspected, make sure that it is livable for your family to get in here, and we'll give it to you for $25 or $100 a month. This 3-bedroom apartment or this 3 or 4 bedroom house for $100 a month. But hey, you can't have that black man in the house, or you can't get these privileges. So again, and this is one of the things that I was going to talk about in one of the how white folks got so rich, how they attain wealth. We were dealing with white supremacy. All of the ideals that these people came up with in order to destroy us, to keep us down, or destroy the black family. And these was one of the ploys that they did, was to try to keep the black man out of the house, i.e., offer these women these different types of benefits. If you keep this man out, then we will provide you, the government, us, we will provide you with housing, we'll provide you with food, and other different government assistance things that they got going on. So again, we have to start to take accountability and then start thinking about how can we come and fix it. Not only that, but also changing the mentality of not only the men and the women. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always talk about the rites of passage is so much. And again, going through those demarcation stages, we got that now. We have a certain where in the United States, a person is legal at the age of 8. Well, at 18, and then at 21, you really consider legal. You able to go buy alcohol. um, etc. And etc. But when or even when you become a teenager, or you know what I'm saying, or you reach the age of 5 or whatever, said we don't have anything set in place where we educating these people, where we educating the babies at a certain age. You know what I'm saying? Like far as when we deal with African culture and we deal with the demarcation stage, a woman is already being prepped and prepared when she goes through her rites of passage. And there are so many different rites of passage and so many different stages they go through where a woman is taught how to treat a man, and a man is taught how to treat a woman. A man is taught to he has to be with a woman, and a woman is taught the same thing. So therefore, they know and they're not confused that hey, I can't be, because when you talk about marriage or family, you're talking about procreation, and in African culture, both go hands in hand. When you talk about procreation, you're talking about marriage, and these people are and sometimes are selecting the right person to be with, you know what I'm saying, or the responsible person to be with, that's going to be there, the man that's going to be there to protect the family, that's going to be there to help provide and build for the family, as well as the woman there to educate the babies, as well as help feed the babies, as well as protect the babies, as well, and so forth. So we some of these things we have to start to implement back into the culture that back into our culture that we once had, that we have lost. So again, we have to figure out, take accountability, reset our minds, implement our traditions, the traditions that we use, especially with the demarcation stage, and educating our kids properly of what a man is supposed to do, what a woman is supposed to do, set the right example. And what I mean by setting the right example is the women stop having men coming in and out of their houses like revolving doors, the men, etc., and bring the right type of men, the right type of women around our kids, set the right type of example, teach our kids uh, in the right, in the right way when it's time to, to teach them certain parts of so forth. So we won't keep repeating the cycle and letting people manipulate us and throwing trinkets in our face, you know what I'm saying, to hinder us or to make us believe that we don't need a woman or a woman don't need a man, because they're dangling some bait in our face where we biting every time. That's I mean, I just wanted to build on that a little bit.
Yeah, Kofi, let me add on. Because Kayla had said something earlier, and you kind of expounded on it too about the housing and how they trying to break up the black family. Now, I'm not for sure, but I believe if you got a felony, you can't even live in that household, that Section 8 household. So
You can't.
yeah, so part of the European breaking up the household is to give the black man a felony off top. That way, when he go to jail, the woman got to apply for Section 8, and then when he come home, he can't stay in the household no more because he got the felony. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, T'Challa? What's up, Sutekh? I ain't heard from Sutekh. And T'Challa just got on the platform, jumped on the platform. Peace, brother T'Challa. We ain't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're on here.
Yeah,
Peace,
real.
peace. I'll go ahead, Sutekh.
Okay, real quick, man. I just wanted to touch on a couple of points y'all already touched on, because y'all been touching on a lot of good points, man. Extended family. I think that's a real big issue too. I see a lot of black mothers, black single mothers, pushing their kids out of the house as early as possible. And I'm in Cali, so I also see like Mexicans. You might see a 3-bedroom house with 15, 20 Mexicans living in there. You know what I mean? I feel like that's real devotion. And they you gotta look at each other as family, even though, some of these people, some of these Mexicans might not even be related. But they do what they got to do to get it done. They look at each other as family and they make it happen. A lot of white folks let their kids stay at home until they finish college and get a job. You know what I mean? So I think that might be something that we might need to look into. You know what I mean? Even though it's their culture, it's something that we might need to look into because it all goes back to extended family. I remember you used to have Big Mama. Either you used to live with Big Mama, your grandmama, or she used to always be around. Nowadays, I mean, your grandma might be about 30 years old. I mean, we just starting so early. I think we just need to get back to our African center values and teach our kids how to do it our way instead of letting these schools and the TV teach it, let the streets teach it, because it's a lot of homosexuality. I see myself on TV. It's a lot of shows that I can't watch. It's a lot of homosexuality I see in the schools, like even in kindergarten now. I think in Texas, they are teaching, without the parents' consent, they're teaching homosexual stories to kids. Like, I don't understand. I think we just got to get back to our way of doing things, our way of teaching our kids, and not letting these other institutions do it. As far as the school, television, the streets, we got to do it our way. And that's all I want to say.
Sutekh, you kind of spoke to what my next talking point was going to be, but I was going to frame it in the aspect of a question. And anybody on the panel, if you want to answer it, you can, but just take a moment to think and let it sit in before you do. If you owned a castle.
Hey, before you do that, T'Challa, I guess wanted to chime in, and him and what's her name was trying to chime in at the same time.
Oh, okay. Peace, family. It's good to be, on the panel with you all. I see. What's the sister's name?
Kayla, Sister Kayla.
Sister Kayla. Peace to you, sister, and all the good brothers here on the panel. I happened to chime in when the sister was making some good comments too. All y'all been speaking on good, making some good talking points. But I just want to add to the conversation in terms of, our perception of the world. I talk to my family and everyone in my circle about this all the time because I'm real big on language as a musician myself. And, as I teach people how to play the music from coastal regions of West Africa, djembe drum and all of that, a lot of people, they have a Western ear, so they're not able to really hear what the rhythms are. And that speaks to their musical perception. No different than, as everyone on the panel has stated, basically, your perception of what you're programmed to already understand was right due to the school systems or due to what you see, due to the lack of family and that sense of community truly. And so you only do what you know. Every living creature is only going to mimic what its environment shows it. There, you don't see organisms in nature do not do things unless they're able to be exposed to something that causes them to have to adapt to do that. Just as the beetle rolls the dung across the sand, the leopard sits up in the tree and waits for you to, slip up, and it pounces on you, and so forth and so on. And what we've done is we've just separated ourselves from nature and think that we can all just teach each other, just only dealing with our own species. My stance is that we really need to understand that we are an extension of the all itself. And so if we really want to better ourselves and to shift our quote unquote consciousness to a level where we're not allowing, like the brother said, the TV to just show you, you turn on the program, and I do it myself. I turn it off or I skip past the scene because every other scene I gotta witness, two people doing what they do. And like the sister said, that's their business. They do what they do. But when you put it on a television program, or when you're teaching kids in the schools, that I've bear witness to that as well here in Chicago, that, kids only prefer non-gender oriented pronouns and all this, that, and the other. What is you talking about? How you talking about a non-gender oriented pronoun and you can't even tell me what the square root of 9 is? Got your shoes untied and you worried about a non-gender. You know what I mean? I feel like we, number one, need to deal with language, because we all speak in English on this panel. We all understand each other, right? But if we go ahead and deal with the cultures that we all study out of the continent, because that is our lineage and that is what truly should be guiding us, then we start to deal with the concepts of Iwa Pele, you know what I mean? Having just good character all the way around the board. And looking at nature, you can observe an ant colony in your backyard, and I promise you, you will observe more examples of good character than walking to the gas station or down the street or going to work. You will witness Iwa Baruru very quickly, because everybody on the same road, but we can't seem to work together. So we got accidents, road rage. I seen somebody today curse somebody out. It was 2 grandmas driving in the truck, somebody's grandmas, right? And the man turned the corner and he yelling out the window all types of names, calling them out their names. I said, man, if that had been, what if that was his grandma driving on the street and somebody calling him out their name because, he want to drive too fast or what have you. And I just, again, observing nature is that connectedness that we all missing. Looking at animals that work together, birds that ride the backs of hippos and rhinos and elephants, eating off the flies and the other pests that bother them. And that is the type of connectedness that we have to have. Somebody helps somebody else to help somebody else. And not to hog the mic, I just want to say that my stance is that we really need to deal with nature as much as possible. Something that these Boy Scout programs like to do and all that other kind of stuff. But we know the root of that and where that comes from. We have to take it upon ourselves to teach our babies that it is okay to wonder and explore, but we have to guide them, because you can't explore everything. And with that said, I'll just go ahead and pass the mic.
Yeah, what Brother T'Challa just said, some of y'all may have heard me speak on this before when I said one of the worst and most detrimental mistakes you can make as a parent is dehumanizing your child. When you take away their personality and turn them into your personal property. In the aspect of, you're going to do this because you're my child. And then that's where I had the conversation of being a parent is more hands over versus hands on. And I'll get into that later. But what I was going to ask earlier was, if you owned a castle, an all-out castle, and your child turned 18, would you force the child to move out, or would you begin prepping them in their adulthood to know what it means to sustain and maintain that castle? And understand what I'm trying to ask by that. Because
say that again.
If you own the castle, you own the castle, a kingdom. The child turns 18. Would you say you grown, it's time for you to go out and face this world on your own? Or would you take the approach of taking that child under your wing and expounding on, okay, now let me teach you what it means to maintain this castle, the value of this castle, how we establish this castle, the legacy behind the castle. And see, that's a big component to why we are losing wealth, because once again, we're going into individualism. Are you 18? You grown now. I did my job as a parent. Your job doesn't end at a particular age once you become a parent. You can't say you 12 years old, you got a good grips of the world. I don't see the purpose of me being here, so I'm just gonna move out. You take care of this house, I'm gone. It don't work that way. You a parent forever. You're gonna always be mama, you're gonna always be daddy. You're gonna always be brother, and you're gonna always be sister. And we have to understand that. We have to understand when you say you my brother, I'm saying I see you as an equal part of me. I see you as my sister. I see you as an equal part of me. We have to get out of that mentality that your brother and your sister is your rival. That's one thing that has to end immediately. It's people say it's okay for friendly competition, but at whose expense? It's okay to make your brother a loser just so you can be the winner. Is that what we're saying? Or should we understand teamwork makes that dream work? We win together. Um, and I don't know how long y'all want to be on here. I don't want to get too long with stuff. I
Yeah,
want to keep
we can go for another 10 or 15 minutes, but y'all, those that's in the chat, answer his question because I mean it's going back to what I've been saying for the longest. I mean, um, is those different stages of life, those demarcation stages of life in our culture. You know, when we reach a person or this person reach a certain age, then it is ready to obtain this type of information and obtain this type of responsibility. So, and like you were saying that a lot of us, I know Sister Kayla made this point, and you talking about it as well with the question that you proposed, and a lot of us, would say when the teenager teenager turn 18 or she's that person in the United States is recognized as being an adult at the age of 18. um we kick them, we ready to kick them out of the household. And at that particular time, we should be, and I'm not going to even say just at the age of 18, but at a particular time that we feel like that they are comprehending and they're able to understand what we are disseminating to them and what we are trying to show them for as how to be a woman, how to be a man, how to sustain a household, for as what is the responsibilities that come with owning your own home, what is the responsibilities come with having children, what is the responsibility comes with having a job to provide or creating your own job to provide, as I would like to say. um these are learning lessons that we should be doing now. Even Sutekh made a comment that I've been saying for a while also, as I consider the TV as the dumb box. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch a few shows. I watch, um, but I don't watch a lot of TV at all. And we are letting, a matter of fact, I was just having a conversation with my fiance the other day pertaining to school, and people know how I feel. It's crazy. People know how Sutekh also mentioned the TV and he mentioned the school while ago. And a lot of people know how I feel about the school system. And I call it the food system. And even though I have a disdain for the school system, I am trying to be an educator as well. I have set out a 7-year plan, um, and that is to become a professor at a university. And I am on in my 4th year in that 7-year plan to become a professor or educator at a higher institution. So I'm graduating soon with my bachelor's, but I got 3 more years in order for me to get my PhD or my doctorate. But so I'm trying to correct some of those things in the education system, even though, and we're thinking we're allowing the teachers have 8 hours with our kids. So we want the teachers at this particular time, we want the teachers to raise our kids and educate our kids. And once the kids get home, we don't have to do anything with the kids anymore. They done been to school. The teacher should have been telling them right from wrong. The teacher should have been, no, they can't do that. That's not their job. That's not their responsible. That's not their responsibility. Even with the TV station is the programs are also programming our children to think that this is normal behavior for and I'm just gonna say it for um you to envy other people besides yourselves. And if you're gonna be in a relationship and if you're gonna try to build a relationship with somebody, is it has to be outside of your own race. You cannot make it with a black family, but if you go and marry this white man, if you go and marry this Asian man, if you go and marry this white woman, if you go and marry this Asian woman, if you go marry this Arab and etc., you may have a successful household if you go do these things. So a lot of the TV shows that are famous that a lot of the women and a lot of the men are watching, you see the black woman on the arm of a white man. Majority of the TV shows are like that. And if you don't see that, then you see the homosexual aspect where they still destroying the black family because you can't create a family or you can't procreate without a male and a female, which makes a family. A male on male cannot procreate and bring life, cannot bring a family. And the male on male cannot. So they are learning a lot of these things also from the school or the food system, as I like to call it, and from the dumb box. You know what I'm saying? That our TV, if our kids at their school 8 hours of the day, we don't want to be worried with them after the 8 hours a day. We think the teacher should do teach them and raise them, and then we don't when we tired after we come from work, which is another issue that I have. Even though I'm working myself at this particular time, but working for somebody where they work the dog boo boo out of you, you come home, you're tired, you don't want to be bothered with nobody, you don't want to raise your kids, you don't want to talk to your kids, you don't want to educate your kids, you don't want to go over the homework with your kids, you want them to go on and do what they do. Put them in a room with a game or put them in a room and let them watch for the rest of the night 8 hours of school, and then the next 10 hours before they go to sleep, or the next 8 hours before they go to sleep, they are getting educated by the dumb box. So a lot of these things, um, we need to stop. We need to re-educate ourselves. We need to reprogram ourselves. That's why I always revert back to those rites of passage. Again, those are demarcation stages of life. Those are different levels of information that the child go through as puberty, as becoming an adult, and becoming an elder. You are still learning. You are going through these learning processes, and we're not teaching our kids anything because we're putting it off on the teachers at the school system, and we're putting it off now on the dumb box, on with the dumb box. So those are some of the issues that we need to correct, and we need to change.
If I may, to Brother Vasa's question, as far as having a castle and pushing your child out at the age of 18, you know, again, the perception. We honor everything European based on where we live and the construct and who set up the system. Um, and we have to begin to ask the questions of those rites of passages and these initiation ceremonies after, the rhythm Soko is played, after Manjani is played for the girls, Soko is played for the boys. And after they've gone away from the village with the Baba that's gonna teach the boys how to become young men properly. And for the girls, they go with the mamas away and this and that. And what are the age groups that we're talking about where they start to, learn about the different stages of life that are appropriate, that village deems based off of their interaction with nature, the environment, society, and other villages? What are the things that are appropriate for, us to go ahead and start introducing at certain times and, to really properly have a conversation to the homosexuality? We have to understand that we know that it has been around for a very long time. And for those of us that really do research properly and don't allow bias to just take over, we start to find things within our own cultures that we're uncomfortable with. However, we do understand that we're living in a day and age where anything goes. Absolutely. Like, uh, you you just see everything, every kind of which thing, to where you get somebody where you see them on the street, and you know, you might say a thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, for holding the door for you, and the person that cuss you out for calling them the wrong gender because they feel that they are of a different gender, you know, and it just gets so twisted with how this world becomes, because we've pushed our children out, for those of us that have been able to at the age of 18, of this castle, and they don't know nothing about how to really pass down wealth, how to make the dollar circulate in their own community. The black dollar don't circulate, not even, man, within hours it's gone after payday.
6 hours, they say, in the black community.
Right. And that's crazy, because between hair, nails, and clothes, we produce, I mean, we generate how much revenue? Like trillions and billions of dollars every year off that. But yet in the community, we don't have nothing at all to show for that, other than you might see a brother with he got on the new 22s, and the girl on his arm got, her hair nail. It was payday, because, Saturday, everybody looking good going out Saturday night. And that's crazy that that's the priority, versus teaching our kids how to take that same dollar and put it towards something, that an institution where we can, um, not allow teachers to babysit and half raise our kids for 8 hours a day. The way the system is structured is not even a system that really can flourish truly. I'm gonna say for the black mind, because learning is a 24-hour a day job. Like it's an experience. It's life. You know what I mean? Organisms in nature don't just stop learning. Okay, went and hunted, and now y'all eating on the carcass, and now everybody just stopped learning. No, you constantly defending your territory. Same thing with us. You have to think of it in terms of just like being in the rest of nature, without these artificial structures we've built to shelter ourselves from the reality of what's really outside these walls. And when we interact with one another, we have to understand that we are all here because we have all banded together to protect one another from the elements and other animals that was trying to eat us so long ago. And if we did not band together to do that in the first place, then we wouldn't have been able to birth civilization, because we would have been still too busy fighting off the snake, scorpion, leopard, and everything else. And we get to 2019, and now we just uh, uh, um, like the brother said, we don't even know our next door neighbor's name, and, some of us, we rather not, because of who they are and what they've shown to be. But we all do need to understand that village concept, and to not be trying to grow our kids up so fast and then want to get an attitude when they buck back and be like, who you think you're talking to? Well, we're the ones who showed them to talk like that. So I'll pass the mic, because I know you.
Shawn had a question in the chat. This is a question in the chat. It says, can white men and women be included in a discussion like this? And if their spouse are black, do they have a say or have a seat at the table? Y'all got that? Don't nobody want to expound on the question? Do I need to read the question again?
I think we got it. I'll just go ahead. um, I mean, it is a tough situation, because you have people who, they produce, biracial children. And so then you have to deal with the concept of, if we're pro-black teaching our kids one thing, again, if you're an interracial couple, there's two things that have to happen. One, the black community and black people need to have something that is exclusively for us, and conversation exclusively for us, regardless. I don't care what you got mixed in your blood. I don't care what's what. Black, the I'm gonna just say black people, period, globally. Just like you can go to certain restaurants in certain countries, and only people who are native to that country can actually go into the restaurants right now to this day. Japan is one of them. You have exclusive restaurants where you can't enjoy no sushi unless you're Japanese. And I respect that because they have their own thing set aside for them, for their own people. Just like with certain things with the black community, we have to stop trying to include everybody in our thing all the time. And we have to take the time out and set aside to rebuild ourselves, because we do need to separate enough to really get ourselves together instead of trying to mingle and mix in and be equal with everyone else first. And then we can get our stuff together so that we can properly identify other cultures and coexist with other cultures on whatever degree level, relationship, friendship, business partnership, whatever. But if you don't know how to deal with yourself, I'm gonna say the answer is no if you don't have the black family together first before you start trying to branch out and include everybody.
Yes, that's correct. You got to get your own house in order first before you try to go out and mingle at somebody else's house. So I totally agree with what you just said, um, brother T'Challa. I mean, because we first have to understand who we are and what our culture is, where we able to identify to foreign culture. Because right now we are we are cultureless. We participate in every, like, what was this, the Cinco de Mayo weekend or whatever. We went out and celebrated that. I had a guy that worked with me say his name is Paco for the weekend, so he went to go
Kofi,
go.
Kofi, Kofi, you know you had a veggie taco. Stop.
Come on, Kofi, you know you was Jose.
Oh, Kofi had a veggie taco, man.
You crazy. But yeah, man.
But
You
nah,
done made me forget what I was gonna say, Sutekh. I done forgot what I was.
I also think on that question, it is, what are the intentions of even being in the discussion, or as it says, being seated at the table? Are they there for bragging rights? Are they there because it's a new social norm? Or do they have actual aspirations to further our progress? Is it a genuine concern being there? That would be the first thing I would address in that conversation. Now, if they there on some just love of hip hop type of ordeal, no, go somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, that's just capitalism. They trying to capitalize on something.
yeah, Vyasa, and I'm gonna say this to your question, Shawn, and I'm gonna let the brother Sutekh go because I seen he
Oh
unmuted his
yeah,
mic.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got you, bro. The European do not need a seat at the damn table. They always got their motherfucking hands in some shit that they ain't got no business in. You know what I'm saying? When the Italians meet for their mob meetings or whatever, you don't see no niggas at the table. You don't see no black people nearby. So the European always got their motherfucking hands in some shit that they don't need to be. You could see a whale in the ocean minding this damn business, and a European down there fucking with it. European, stay out the business. Stay out black affairs. Cause you can't bring nothing to the table. What can you bring to the table? Would be my question. And I ain't gonna ask you at the table. I'm gonna ask you at the door before I let you in. That's if I let you in. Go ahead.
I heard that's a tip. Stop them at the door and ask what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. I feel like if you are in a interracial relationship, then that's your business. That's not my concern. But I feel like black affairs should have to only deal with black people. Black people are way too inclusive. We include way too many people in our affairs and in our business. That's why a lot of times our plans fall short. So do whatever you do in your personal life, that's not my concern or my business. But when it comes to our people as a collective, the black family and black affairs and having a say so in the black community? No, not at all. I don't think so.
And I am going to throw this out there as a, you know, um, an extra incentive to those statements that we are too inclusive. I think that's the beauty about us being African in all our aspects is we do have the firmest aspect of what it means to be human and humanity. Um, I don't think we should ever lose that. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm buck dancing or sugarcoating anything. Yeah, we do have to become responsible what it means in that aspect of identifying humanity. Because we can't be inclusive to the very ones who's trying to end humanity as well. We can't give them the power to do that. But to mimic their behaviors, I don't think that's something we have to do. I think we just have to resurrect our natural power and our natural minds. And by the time we do that, we'll be so high up, we won't have time to look down at them. Um, but just, you know, just to keep that in mind, that is the beauty about us. We are, at the end of the day, the strongest group when it comes to uh, humanity. Culture itself comes from us, and that's, you know, what identifies us as being human is us separating ourselves, or not separating ourselves, but from learning how to live amongst nature and our time on earth, from writing, clothing, all these aspects, building families, and that's what we got to get back to. And before we close this show, I think, you know, one of the things that we need to do in this one
Yeah,
is
and let
everybody give a definition of what they think family is.
okay. Well,
But
and
before we,
Sister Kayla, Sister Kayla, she had wanted to speak. She had unmuted her mic, I think, about 3 times. Go ahead, Sister Kayla.
Oh, I just wanted to say, like I agree. Like my answer is no for sure. Um, I'm not against interracial dating, but I don't think that we as Black people should even be mixing with them in the first place because several reasons. One, we not even together as a whole in the first place, and then we have to look at it like number two. What are we doing to the Black family if we are m- mixing with them? Are we now keeping our family completely Black, so to speak? Because now you gotta address them. And so I don't mean to sound like negative when I say that, but um no, they don't have no seat at the table. They don't have no say because they don't know, number one, what it is to be Black living in America in the first place at all, ever. No matter if they living in a house with a Black person, they can see it, whatever, but they don't know what it is to be Black, period. So why should we be giving them any even more say? Like that's the problem. We keep mixing with them for what? Why are we so appealing to these people um when here we are, uh what's the word I'm looking for, just basically disregarding our traditions and what we were doing prior to either even ever coming into contact with them. So no, we should not be even intermixing with them in the first place. Not until at least we are together as a whole, as a Black community, and we're not. We're far from it, and we should not be intermixing with them because to me now that's even more division amongst us as a whole community, and that's a problem because we're not there yet. And what are we teaching our children? That are they mom Black, if they mom Black, but now here it is, they dad leave their mom for a white woman. What are you teaching your son? That his mom wasn't good enough? No. I know it's no, I'm not being racist, you know. I have family that's intermixed with white people, so I have nieces and nephews that are half white. So I'm not being racist, but I'm just saying I don't think that is a good idea. Not right now, especially. No. So no, they don't have no say. They can mind their business, and that's my answer.
And somebody talked about mimicking behaviors, mimicking white people behaviors. If we're gonna mimic their behaviors, I want to see less mimicking things like feminism, homosexuality, and Eurocentric religions and such. More of circulating our dollar within our own community, passing down generational wealth, creating more businesses. If we're gonna mimic their behaviors, let's try to do those things instead of all the negative things.
And
Who's
to
that?
your,
Was that
oh, go ahead,
Sutekh?
brother Ross.
I didn't mean to cut nobody off, but yeah, Sutekh. I totally agree. I've recently said that it's funny that we took on all the negative aspects and didn't pay attention to any of the things they did to maintain power. Um, from the drug culture, the the division of family, the family rivalries. We took all their negative aspects and thought that that would help us get where they are, not realizing it only divided us even more. For example, I think a big part of the reason you've seen a decline in families is when you started seeing all these Hollywood divorces and the idea that you can get married to somebody and take half their wealth. Get married, fraudulently be there, stay there long enough to just get your name mixed in with the economics of it, and you can walk away with, y'all heard Eddie Murphy say, half, and look at what we're doing. Look at how many are getting impregnated just solely to get child support. So it does create these social ills that we have to address. So yeah, we do have to clean up the inside house, and we do have to. I don't even think mimic their behavior. I think we need to identify what kind of behavior we choose to represent as a whole, more than anything.
I mean, that's where studying our story comes in. You know, I say this all the time. I keep 4, 5, 6, 7 books on me at all times. And it's for the sake of, for every reference for anything that we have, it is Eurocentric. And it will be something, we will ultimately be mimicking the behavior of ones who have been oppressing us globally. You know, like the sister said, they don't know what it means to be black in America. They don't know what it means to be black on this planet. And every nation of black people has come under the foot and the boot of them by force. The underdevelopment of Africa to the point where we didn't deal with gunpowder like that. And we didn't have iron and iron weapons like that. We were still having copper and everything else. So when we get overtaken by hundreds and thousands of men dressed in armor and having guns and muskets, you know what I mean? It's you ain't none of us bulletproof, but we have to understand that economically we can become bulletproof, so to speak, with that black dollar circulating, which means that, everybody on this panel probably provides a service that one of us can take not necessarily advantage of in a negative sense, but I know you know what I mean. We can use it. Somebody on this panel does something that I can, I'm gonna pay money this month for that service. I guarantee it. And if 5 of us just took $5 that we had the next time we got paid and put it in a pot and did that for 3 months, how much would we have together? Right? We can go ahead and go get ourselves a nice couple pieces of property, you know what I mean, and do some of these things that create the opportunities to keep that black dollar circulating. And so, yes, we do have to, like I said, set ourselves aside enough, and not necessarily mimic the things that the oppressor has done to keep power and to take power, because they learned that understanding of wealth and everything. The richest people in history are found on the continent of Africa. I'm just going to leave it at that. I guarantee you that the richest of the rich, in terms of what's really worth anything, those stories come off the continent in terms of what we've done and what we've built in history. We don't have to mimic anyone else. We just have to be like ourselves, but we have to learn about ourselves first, um, to allow us to be able to, you know, without the inclusiveness of any other so quote unquote race or any other people, none of that. Just us learning about ourselves and getting ourselves together, as a sister stated.
Man, we're gonna have to do part two to this, but I don't think we should do a part two until we get Vyasa Niccolo presentation out the way. And once he get through with his presentation, I think we should, because we not gonna, I mean, tackle everything tonight. There's so many other things we can be talking about to pertaining to the black family, and getting the you know, we can't move forward with any other situations, issues that they got going on, and other types of plans that we trying to prepare for, what we trying to get until we get the black family, black right, get the black family, black back stable. So I'm finna get ready to end the show. Appreciate those that tuning in. Um, and for those that may look at it in the archive, this is a great bill. Um, um, Wish we could have had a little bit more participation tonight in on the panel. I put the link in there a few times, but I know how some people here, they not going to get on the panel. They rather just sit back and listen, and I respect that. I respect that too. Um, Appreciate you, Sister Kylie, for joining the panel. We asked you to join. You jumped right in, and build with us. We appreciate that. We need more women to jump on the panel with these men, and get their sides and build with us as well. So appreciate you. I hope I want to make you if it's all right with you, make you a moderator on this channel here, if that's okay. Cause she shared all our videos. She shared the Kofi Piesie. She shared the Master Warrior Clan. Uh,
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. Look at Shawn. Shawn always being messy. Shawn is just so messy, y'all. That boy is just out. Shawn is crazy and messy, I tell you. But anyway, man, we finna get ready to end the show, man. We appreciate those that tune in. You could have been doing anything else with the time, but you took the time out to join us and listen to us build on this discussion, which is an important discussion. Again, we'll have a part two soon. Be looking forward to Brother Vyasa Niccolo presentation coming soon. We don't have a date for it yet, but be looking forward for it to be coming soon. Kofi TV has been, we ain't been doing as much as we normally been doing, but we back. We back. We jumped it back off yesterday night. We jumped it off. We did 2 shows a day. We're gonna jump it back off next week. We're gonna do a show Saturday. I'll be doing part two to how white folks got so rich, uh, about how they use white supremacy to obtain their wealth by utilizing certain types of unill methods, trickery, and all other sorts of types of things. So we'll be going in on that Saturday. I'll be coming back on the Master Warrior Clan Sunday, and I'll be coming back Sunday evening with part three. Also, be on the lookout for T'Challa, he ain't said he gonna do something. He gonna do something. He on here. We been missing a lot. Every now and then he popping in, but we ready for another exclusive T'Challa presentation on the Kofi Pieside TV because he is an affiliate and a family member of Kofi Pieside TV. When you mention Kofi Pieside TV, you can't not mention T'Challa. You cannot mention Vyasa, Setepenre, um, any Herit, Shawn, Khafani, um, and we're trying to add some new people. Sutekh, he just popped off of him. Maybe we'll see more of him, Sutekh. Maybe we'll be able to premiere his presentation pretty soon, and he'll be joining the fold. And maybe we can get some women to also join and maybe present and continue to build in on the discussion. Maybe something Kylie may be interested in the future, and whoever may be interested in the future, joining us and helping us to get this information out to the family. Um, and we out, man. I want to say Shemim Hotep. Shemim Hotep means to depart in peace. So we'll see y'all next week for another full weekend of Kofi Pieside TV and Mossy Warrior Clan. If you missed the old 90 presentation, please go check that presentation out that I did today on the Igbo way of life. And we out. Black African power, family. Peace, peace, fam.